The Gita may have resolved Isherwood's conflict over pacifism and war, but he remained a man torn between the two worlds of matter and spirit. He had reveled in the hedonism of Berlin in the 1930s, and had attempted the austerity of monastic life in the 1940s. Both found expression in his writing, either indirectly through fictional characters or directly through personal memoirs. In the semi-autobiographical novel Berlin Stories, Isherwood chronicled the decadence of Germany between the wars. In 1951, his friend John Van Druten adapted the novel as the play I Am a Camera. Like Isherwood, Van Druten was an Englishman, a pacifist, a successful playwright, screenwriter, and novelist, and a disciple of Swami Prabhavananda. I Am a Camera became a movie in 1955, but that was not the end of the story. Isherwood's vivid tales went on to enjoy later incarnations as a hit Broadway musical and another film, both entitled Cabaret. After Isherwood decided against the monastic life in the mid-1940s, the irresistible pull of the world out there led him to pursue a career in the Hollywood film studios. Even so, he remained devoted to his spiritual quest and to his beloved guru. In his last novel, A Meeting by the River, he enacted the conflict between his worldly and spiritual sides through the confrontation of two brothers, one a successful publisher, the other a monk about to take his final vows in a Hindu religious order. Still later, Isherwood wrote candidly of his inner life in My Guru and His Disciple, a personal memoir of his relationship to the world, to Vedanta, and above all to Swami Prabhavananda. Another British novelist who wrote about a Westerner's spiritual quest in the East was Somerset Maugham. Maugham and Isherwood were longtime friends, and it was rumored that Isherwood was the model for Larry, the novel's American protagonist. Isherwood emphatically denied this. It is certain, however, that Larry's guru, Sri Ganesha, was modeled on Ramana Maharshi. Maugham had met briefly with the holy man in India in 1938. The two men exchanged few words, and the Maharshi twice entered Samadhi. Out of that experience, Maugham wrote The Razor's Edge, taking the title from a passage in the Katha Upanishad. Like the sharp edge of a razor, the sages say, is the path. Narrow it is, and difficult to tread. Maugham came to Hollywood in 1945 to adapt the novel for the screen. 3 times during that summer, he and George Cukor, who was to direct the film, met with Swami Prabhavananda. They sought his advice regarding the spiritual instruction that Larry would have received from the holy man. In the end, Cukor did not direct the film, and Maugham did not write the screenplay. In the novel, Larry's spiritual experience fails to make an impression on any of the people around him. In real life, The Razor's Edge had a tremendous impact on its readers. Some, introduced to the wisdom of the East by the book or the film, found their way to the Vedanta Society. Over the years, the literary activity at the Vedanta Society continued unabated. The Prabhavananda-Isherwood collaboration produced superlative English versions of other classic texts on God realization. Shankara's Crest Jewel of Discrimination appeared in 1947. A translation with commentary of Patanjali's Yoga Sutra followed in 1953 under the title How to Know God. Additionally, Isherwood, who then co-edited Vedanta in the West, oversaw the publication of 2 anthologies drawn from the magazine, Vedanta for the Western World and Vedanta for Modern Man. Both were heavy in contributions by Aldous Huxley, Gerald Heard, and other distinguished writers. A number of titles also appeared under Swami Prabhavananda's sole authorship. They include The Sermon on the Mount according to Vedanta, Religion in Practice, and Narada's Way of Divine Love, the Bhakti Sutras. The most personal of Swami Prabhavananda's books is The Eternal Companion, which presents the life and teachings of his own revered guru, Swami Brahmananda. Ever since 1953, Swami Prabhavananda had been urging Christopher Isherwood to write a biography of Sri Ramakrishna. Finally, Ramakrishna and his disciples appeared in 1965. The book begins with a simple declaration. This is the story of a phenomenon. Those few words in Isherwood's characteristically spare style herald the sense of immediacy he brought to the life, teachings, and spiritual legacy of Sri Ramakrishna, the figure at the center of the modern Vedanta movement. Swami Prabhavananda had met that same figure of Sri Ramakrishna 58 years earlier in the pages of another book, The Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Its words had planted the seeds of a life dedicated to spiritual service. The Swami never forgot the power of the written word to inspire, and that conviction bore fruit throughout his life as a monk and a teacher. Perhaps because of that conviction, a constellation of literary stars formed around him. As the bright light at the center, shining with the spiritual wisdom of India, he inspired them. They in turn helped him to realize his dream. Today, thanks in part to their collaborative efforts and literary achievements, the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna and Vedanta are more widely known than ever before.